Hello and welcome back to the Life After Losses video blog. This past week has been all about deconstructing performances on stage and recognizing where I fell short in my own life. I still haven't had time to get a haircut, and that's coming soon. So let's get to this, alright? This week's entry is number 171, and it's about remembering to take my own advice about self-care, and also for you to learn from my mistakes. So last week I mentioned that the recovery would start after the spotlights dimmed and the cast party was complete. And while I meant that to be somewhat tongue-in-cheek, I didn't realize how spot-on I would actually be. After nearly 3 months of rehearsals, it took me over 3 days to physically recover from the 3 performances that we did over the weekend. I was physically and emotionally drained. I also had my regular job to tend to. And did I manage to do it all? Not even remotely. As I said last week, nobody can do it all. And I have friends who do this, and much more, for a living, and I'm in total awe. So, as I lay there, physically sore, my voice leaving me, my immune system shouting, "Hey, is there cold out there for this guy?" I realized a critical oversight. I failed to take care of myself. I hadn't been on stage in over a year, and I really didn't remember the toll it took on me. Had I remembered, I would have done more. I did the barest minimum self-care I could have done as I added more to my life, but I didn't really modify my behaviors. So let's deconstruct the coulda, woulda, shoulda of my lack of self-care saga, shall we? So looking back, I could have played a few moves differently to avoid feeling like a worn-out sneaker after a marathon. First of all, sleep. And I needed to be on better terms. I thought I was getting enough, but let's face it, enough was more of a guess than a fact. A solid sleep routine like hitting the hay and waking up at the same time, even on weekends, could have been a game changer. Instead, I was inconsistent. I could have tossed in a few extra naps here and there, but why not? Naps are glorious. But consistency was lacking. And then there's the whole eating thing. Yeah, I munched on some greens and stayed hydrated, but my body probably craved more fuel than I gave it credit for. I relied on convenience and quick fixes instead of nutritionally dense foods, and sometimes I would eat after rehearsal, which was at 10 o'clock or later, and skip dinner altogether. So instead of munching on the candy in the green room, I could have amped my diet up with more brain-boosting foods like nuts, seeds, and those fancy omega-3s. I took a few apples, once, and maybe I should have cut down on the caffeine. Okay, definitely cut down on the caffeine. Exercise? I didn't do enough. I told you last week I put kickboxing on the back burner, and as I reflect on my friends who do this regularly, I see that exercise is a big part of their routine. Some regular low-impact activities could help big time. Note to myself, and I better write this down, choreography and rushing to places is not the same as exercising. Next time, plan a brisk walk, some light stretching, or yoga. That could get my own energy levels steady instead of peaking and crashing like a sugar rush. And yeah, the stress. I was juggling more balls than a circus performer, and I know that stress management should have been my go-to. I'm talking about taking breaks, diving into hobbies and things that have nothing to do with work or the stage, and even meditating. Finally, I realized I needed to work on overcommitting myself. I fall into this trap far too frequently, and I'm so excited about saying yes that I don't stop to think if I should. Spreading myself too thin wasn't just a possibility, it was my reality. Setting boundaries and understanding it's okay to turn down things that would have kept me from biting off more than I could chew. My payoff for the fun, however, was exhaustion. I'm an open book. I thrive, I fail, I get back up. If you've been around for any time, I share the good, the bad, the ugly. So here you have it, my personal account of how I flubbed taking care of myself, and the retrospection about what I could have done differently. Learn from my missteps. Balance isn't just a buzzword, it's the secret sauce to not crashing and burning. Now let's hear from you. What are your tales of self-care? What tricks do you have up your sleeve? What can you teach us, and what can we teach each other? Go ahead and leave a comment. Thank you. Until next time.